What's up, guys? This is Coach Grant with First Down Training, and today we're going to be breaking down a few things that all DBs cannot stop and that they hate going up against on a snap. So I hope this video helps you guys out. Hope this can give you some value and teach you a few new things. But also, fellas, if you're a wide receiver and you would like a daily off-season training schedule with all the things you should be doing in the gym and on the field to improve your skills as a wide receiver specifically, check out that very first link in the description below for our ultimate 8-week wide receiver workout plan. It's a daily schedule with all the gym and field exercises combined that wide receivers should do for route running, speed, strength, the works. Give you every single set and rep that you should be doing on a daily basis and an example of each exercise. So check out that very first link below. Let's get started with this video. So the first thing that DBs cannot stop, fellas, is something we call late hands. So this is an example of Devontae Adams running a fade route, and it looks like DB's in pretty good coverage, right? He's on his hip. Adams only has him by about a step, and this is why DBs hate going up against this, and like we call it, late hands. So late hands is any time that you have a catch like over the shoulder, maybe it's like a fade ball. I guess I wouldn't really call this as like a over the shoulder catch, but it's a pass downfield. You got a DB on your inside hip trailing you, or sometimes you can use this when you are catching in traffic. But you have to understand when a DB is chasing you like this, he's on your hip, you beat him on a fade, a deep post, a corner. He's not going to be running with his head looking back for the ball because he's going to lose you, right? His job is to play you, essentially. You tell him when that ball is going to be dropping in. So if you're running, so many wide receivers will run downfield, that ball is thrown, and they will be running with their hands almost extended, like they're reaching out for the ball, but they do it way too early. And that lets that DB know exactly where that ball is going to be and where to put his hand in to make a play. So we want to keep him in the dark. We don't want him to know anything about that football and when it's going to be dropped in. A lot of guys will say, oh, well, when they see a wide receiver, his eyes get real big, they're going to play it. You really think he's going to be able to look at your eyes when you're running, 20 plus miles per hour downfield? No, he's not going to be able to look at your eyes. He's playing your body. So if your hands are late and you are waiting till almost the last possible second to show your hands, that DB has no chance to make a play and to react off of us. Now, obviously, like this might be opposite of what you've been taught, right? So many wide receivers have been taught, oh, when that ball is thrown, like if it's a jump ball, yeah, you want to go get it at its highest point. If you have to slow down, you have to come back for the ball. But a lot of you are taught, oh, go to the ball. It's thrown over the shoulders. Put your hands to the ball. When it's over the shoulder, we want to be late, but you have to trust your eyes. You got to be seeing that thing hit your hands. Your eyes are going to catch this thing before your hands do. So you have to watch that ball make contact with your hands. And if you can do that consistently, you will be better at having late hands. So all DBs hate going up against this because even if they have the right coverage, even if it's tight coverage and you have them by a step and your quarterback can put the ball on a dime, that late hands will win you every single deep ball. Let's play this thing again, full speed one more time. This is a great job by Adams. Obviously, fighting off the jam. All we need is a step, fellas. If you have late hands, that is all we need to beat a DB. Okay, so the second thing that DBs hate going up against is moves that look the same. So we're going to be going over this route from TJ Hawkinson, and he's running a fake throw by dig route. So this is one of my favorite moves to use, favorite moves to teach, because it is just a way to threaten the DB and get a ton of separation if you run it correctly, right? So he's running a dig route. We got outside shade coverage. He's running a dig. Very easily, he could just take off and go run, right? Very easily because the DB's outside shade. But you got to understand when that DB's outside shade, where is he trying to force you? He's trying to force you to the inside. So we have to try to threaten his leverage if we want to get any kind of separation, and I don't just get forced all the way to the safety help and knocked off my route. So he uses something called a fake throw by. So you see how he attacks inside shoulder, gets his hips to flip, and he gives just one little jab to that blind spot. That is all it takes, fellas. So he's going right at the inside shoulder. Let's force him to open up his hips. Let's make him think we're doing an out route. Because when it comes down to route running, fellas, so often it's about pairing your routes together. How can I make one route look like another route? How can I make a dig route look like an out route? So when we go here and we're running this, like we have outside leverage and I got to run a 10-yard out, I'm going to go right at his outside shoulder. I'm going to force a hip flip and I'm going to slip under him and go. So now if I'm running a dig to make my routes look the same, to make myself unpredictable, I got to make it look the exact, I got to do the exact same thing. He comes off the ball, full speed, going right at that inside shoulder, and he puts the brakes on. You see how he snaps down and then gives a jab, threatening that DB's like blind spot or leverage to hold him at that spot, which creates a bigger throwing window for him. So many wide receivers can't do this, fellas, because they don't understand spacing on plays. Every single snap, wide receivers need to know. You hear, like it talked about on Sunday Night Football, Collins were talking all the time about Oh, Travis Kelce knows how to read coverages. He said he knows how to read coverages better than all the quarterbacks in the league, or 90%, which is complete crap. But that's something that wide receivers need as just like another tool in their belt. They need to be able to read defenses and understand why DBs play a certain way and why they play a certain leverage. And if you can understand that and you know how to structure your routes to that, while maintaining timing with your quarterback, you are very, very tough to stop. And DBs hate that. DBs cannot guard somebody when they have to just rely on their technique every single snap. They can't pick up tendencies. So, like, if you're a guy who's just here and like, okay, this DB's lined up outside shade, I'm just going to go take off and run, and you never give any kind of move, you never run an outside breaking route, not that you have say in what routes you're running, but there's never any much of a threat to this DB, he's just going to play this. Like, he's not threatened at all by it. But if you can run the out routes, if you can throw a move like this, you're going to get a ton of separation because the DB has to rely on his technique. Force him to rely on his technique. And if he beats us, he beats us. But he didn't beat us because he knew what we were doing pre-snap and we gave the route away. So let's play this thing again, full speed. Great job attacking that inside shoulder, making it look like that fake throw by, and then winning on that dig route. Okay, so now, last but not least, a great move that all wide receivers can use on any kind of outside breaking route. I love this on every outside breaking route. An out route, a corner route, a comeback route, and DBs absolutely hate this move because, again, it is very hard to tell what we are doing with this, and that is called a peek back. So what is a peek back move? We talk a lot about snapping down, rocker steps, single cuts, but what's a peek back move? So let's watch this route from Antonio Brown. Takes an outside release, and he peeks back to the QB, just another way to sell the fade. So the reason why I like this on outside breaking routes, I wouldn't like it on an inside breaking route just because if this DB tries to speed up and cover the fade and you got to run back here, you might end up running into him. So I like it on an outside route just to give you more space. But essentially a peek back move is, so like, let's say the way I would teach it, right, is like if we had to run, like let's say we were running 10-yard outs, and let's say 10-yard outs we were breaking off of my third inside step. I would teach my wide receivers to peek back to the QB on their second inside step, then take an outside step, break off the third inside. So you would hold your eyes at that quarterback for 3 steps at the top of the break. Now, is that for every situation? No. That's just how I would teach it and how you guys can understand it. But this peek back move is such a great way to get this DB to think vertical. You're running with speed, you're running with stride, you're not raising your pad level up. Everything about that selling vertical that we talk about is what you want to have. But when you throw those eyes to the inside, there's something about that makes that DB think vertical even more so. And that's what helps us win. We're just selling the fade, selling the 9 even more so. Now, the mistakes that guys will make on this peek back move, which is where DBs can lock them up, which is, again, we're forcing them to rely on their technique, right? And if we give it away and we do this move and we have bad technique as a wide receiver, that makes the DB's technique a lot easier. Because look where he's watching. He's watching hips. He's not supposed to be watching your eyes. But he's going to be able to tell when you look back. He's going to be able to tell when you peek over that shoulder. But if you peek over this shoulder and your pad level raises up and then your strides start chopping down because you're leaning back, that's when that DB can recover, because his technique is trying to read your speed and trying to read your hips. So if he feels your hips raise and your speed change, he's expecting a break. So when I say peek back, I honestly mean like a glance back. You're just glancing over your inside shoulder. When you glance over that inside shoulder, you maintain speed, you maintain your stride. That can get you a step or two from this DB. And as we know from the first example, a step or two in the NFL, college ball, you got a good quarterback in high school, makes all the difference. So make sure, fellas, when you use that peek back, we're not raising up, we're just glancing over that shoulder, and it's all about selling fade. Force the DB to rely on his technique. Let's play this thing again, full speed one more time. Great job attacking leverage, getting skinny, and then using those eyes to sell that vertical even more. All right, fellas, really want to thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. If you guys have any questions at all, don't hesitate to leave those in the comment section below. Always appreciate the feedback. It's always great to hear from you guys. And again, fellas, if you'd like an 8-week wide receiver gym and field workout schedule, daily schedule that you can do every day, check out that very first link in the description below. I'll see you guys next time.